Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new edition of Plant-Based Cooking with Chef Kim. And today, what are we making, Chef Kim?
So we have Wild Mushroom Risotto today.
Ooh, that sounds really good. What kinds of mushrooms would you say are wild mushrooms?
So any mushrooms that you like would be great in these. The wilder, the better. So I really like the shiitake in here. You can even do a porcini. I love the chestnut mushrooms. We get them here local from a local vendor. But you can mix that up with some oyster, which have a really delicate flavor, some cremini, just whatever you like. That has great texture and can go really well in something like this.
I think a lot of folks probably don't know that, like, there are a lot of different types of mushrooms.
Yes. And we've got, and I'm sure depending on where you live, you just look it up, different mushroom vendors that actually forage and go out and get mushrooms that are great, or even they have some incubator type situation where they grow them hydroponically. So
Wow.
lots of options out there for that.
Wow, that's great. That's interesting.
Okay. So do you want me to just go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay. So I have gotten started a little bit ahead of time because it takes risotto a bit of time to cook. So do what I say, not what I do. So what we're going to start out with are some onions. I'm going to use some yellow onions as well as the white part of scallions. And this is just going to bring some great flavor here instead of just some yellow onions. Green onions have a little bit more punch to them. And it's more than just mushrooms and rice, but you want to kind of step it up a little bit. So I'll be going back and forth over here to get our risotto going. So we've got our green onions chopped up. All right, and I'm gonna start on our yellow ones. And also, I probably need to pivot a little bit. I'm gonna get started on some of our mushrooms because we want to roast these. So you can put the mushrooms in your risotto, but I always like to build layers of flavor. So we're going to roast these. That just brings out a really good flavor to them. It gives them a different texture than everything just kind of being mush, if you will. So I've got some cremini here and some shiitake. Had some oyster. And we're just going to lightly oil these with some avocado oil. Our spice blend are just salt and pepper and some granulated garlic or onion powder. And and just put that in the oven, 400, and keep an eye on it depending on how many mushrooms you have on your sheet pan. And roast them for about maybe 15, 20 minutes, just so they get sort of dried out a little bit, they'll get wet and then they'll get dried out. So it's kind of a little odd. So just keep that going a bit. And I'm gonna slice up some of our shiitake. And I was able to get these from some local vendors. Have really great ones here. One that they pretty much specialize in shiitake, and the other has all different kinds. Like I mentioned earlier, I love chestnut mushrooms. They're different, but they're nutty. and they almost kind of melt in your food when you cook with them. So, all right, lay a little bit more of this in here. And just what I'm doing is, and I will tell you this. So I'm cooking the risotto, and a little hint of what kind of adds up the cook time is rinsing your rice. It's not adds, but it lessens, it shortens the cook time. So when you rinse your rice really good till it runs clear, that will also kind of bloom the rice a little bit and get that started for you. So I'm gonna tear these up, put them on there, and we don't throw away the stems. I'm keeping them here because we actually have stems that we're using in our broth. So you want to go ahead. What I've done is I've done the broth ahead of time. You can get you a really good vegan vegetable stock, or you can make your own. There are some that are good that help save in time, and so you just do what you want to do and have the best time frame for making your dish, but it's nothing like having things there for your convenience sometimes. All right. But like I said, even if you aren't cooking your broth or your stock, and you do use a bouillon, or if you're using a vegetable base to make your stock, if you add the mushrooms stems to your stock, that just bumps it up another level. Even if you weren't doing something with mushrooms in it, it would just give it that earthy umami flavor that you are seeking in whatever dish it is that you're cooking. Unless you just have a serious aversion to mushrooms and you don't like them. So, all right, I think we're good on this. Let's put a few more, because when it, just like spinach, when they go in the oven, they wilt down to almost nothing. So, and I like to tear them in this. I know you see me doing this. I just like to keep them sort of organic. And so I just like to tear them. All right, so I'm going to drizzle some oil, put our spice blend on here. You want to season it pretty liberally. Mix these in here together. And I'm going to get it in our oven. Okay. I just got this on a little bit of parchment paper. All right. Check back on those in a little bit. And I already have some stems in here, so I'm just going to keep these, put them in a Ziploc bag for the next time. All right. So we've got our mushrooms going, our risotto going. And there we go, that's what I was looking for. And so we're going to get our onions in here and all of our aromatics. So typically you would take your pan, you would put a little oil in there, and then you would take your onions and crush your garlic and oil here. And after you put your garlic in, your minced garlic, then you would put it on and you would get that, sweat the vegetables out quite a bit, and add in some bay leaves, some of our seasoning, and I'm just going to put them right in the center in the oil there, okay? So that they will be able to touch the surface area. They will cook as well, and it won't be like you're having two different textures. So, and that's just for me because I started the risotto first, but you would be starting with a completely empty canvas or blank canvas. Okay. So we've got our onions going. We're going to season them a little bit. Okay. Get them going. Nice. You just don't want them to stick. All right. And I'm gonna get some garlic going. Smash that up, chop it up. Our bay leaf already in here. Keep stirring. Then after you get the vegetables incorporated, what you want to do is add your rice in, your arborio that I talked about. It's already been bloomed and rinsed. And then you add your white wine in. And you want to make sure you cook off that white wine. So you want to cook that off for about 2 or 3 minutes. Just cook that flavor off. And
Chef Kim, if they wanted to use something other than wine, what could they substitute?
oh, I don't know that there is a substitute. You know, if you like, I'm using a Pinot Grigio here. You could certainly use like a sherry, like a cooking wine, so it's maybe isn't as potent. So I am going to add something in at the end, which might sort of replicate that. So I'll speak to that then. Because, like for instance, I don't want to say vinegar because vinegar, it can be strong, but the one that I'm going to use in this dish is not as potent. So, but if you, even if you, like I only have a 1/4 cup in here, so it's not a whole lot.
Right.
And this is really cooking up fast, even though I got started a little bit ahead of time. By rinsing your rice, it really makes a difference. Okay. So just keep stirring it, and I'm stirring it with a wooden spoon. Somehow that's part of the magic trick as well. And if you want to add some, some heat in here, like some fresh heat, I've got a Fresno chili here. I'm gonna just put a little bit of that in, as well as finish it with a little local cayenne. But yeah, put this in. So I'm gonna finish chopping this up, the garlic, and put this in so that it can cook along with everything. And this is something that would be nice to go with anything that you're fixing. It could go with a really nice salad. You could bump it up, and in the beginning where I added the onions solely, you could add some other vegetables. Like you could dice up some carrots pretty small. You could add some zucchini to this. Even, y'all know how I like to sneak in a little cabbage. Just dice up some cabbage and it pretty much will just melt into everything. So, yeah, you can make it a very hearty dish or something simple. So, all right. Keep adding our stock. Weed out the mushroom stems that I'm running into. So, we're really close to being there, guys. I'm gonna just keep stirring this. All right. Reduce my heat a little. Okay. So, all right. So what we want to do next is you want to incorporate some herbs. We've got our oregano. This is some local oregano, actually from my garden. I say my garden, it's my sister's garden. And I went and picked it this morning. So fresh thyme is really good in this also. If you did something like a rosemary that was a little more hearty, I would definitely make sure to chop it up as fine as you possibly could. So it can be a little toothsome. Okay. I hope you all can hear me well. All right. And then if you want, you can take the thyme and the oregano and chop it up and put it in there. So having both of them is also a nice touch. Nothing like fresh herbs. You know, if you don't have fresh herbs, you can certainly go with your dried herbs too. All right. Add that right in the middle. Stir that in. I smell them already. Smell them already. All right. And some people, it just really kind of depends on the person, I guess. May like their risotto on a little drier side. So you just cook it to where you like it to be. All right. I'm going to taste this a little bit, check it for seasoning, make sure that we have enough of our spices in there. And if you feel like you just need salt, then just add salt. Or if you need heat, just add heat, you know. If you feel like it's got enough of an onion flavor to it. Use this spoon. See where our kernels are. The flavor's good, it's almost done. Not quite there, but real close. Got a really good flavor, y'all. So I'm gonna chop up some green onions to go on the top and just kind of work on the garnishes at this point. So if you want, you can take all different kinds of things. Like you could take the shiitake mushrooms that we had and slice them into like little, almost like little ribbons. I'll see if I've got a big one left. Not really, but you just take the stem off and then just slice it into like little slices, almost look like almond slices. And then you can fry this up just right in the oil, and it tastes like mushroom bacon. It's really good. You'll be really surprised. But some of that, and just put that over the top at the end, just sprinkle a little bit on top, will give it another depth of flavor. So I'm going to check on our mushrooms. They're at the start of the show. I think they're probably really close to being ready. Yes, they're great. So now I'll try to do a little bit of a close-up for you all. But here you got some that have really dried out here. Some of the moisture has gotten in there, but you just got a really nice mix of mushrooms to go in this. It's delicious. All right. I'm going to taste this. If our kernels are where we want them to be, then I am going to finish this up with everything. Give it a little bit more of a taste. Good. I'm going to add a little bit of heat to this. Ooh, I got guests in the kitchen with me today, so I'm not going to burn them out of here. So that's that on that. And then I'm going to add some vegan Parmesan here. There's some great vegan Parmesan cheeses or just vegan cheeses out there now. So definitely explore and find a brand that you like. They have come a long way. Put it like that. All right, got that all in. And I'm going to take out this bay leaf here. There's another one in here somewhere. Trying to get it out before I add the mushrooms in. Maybe I got it out already. I don't remember doing that, but I'll run into it. But you want to take them out before you serve up everything. Okay. Get our mushrooms. I'm going to just take them, a whole piece of parchment, and just drop them into the risotto like so. Don't lose any. Okay. Delicious. And then just stir them in. And then we're about ready to plate up, folks. Now, I mentioned to you earlier about what you could add to just sort of give it some acid if you didn't use the wine. And that's the ume plum vinegar, which you all have seen me add to different things, but it really goes well with some mushrooms and with risotto. I'm going to start with a teaspoon of that. I'll let it stick. And then stir it up and add more if we think it needs more. A little bit of this goes a very long way. So just want to add a little bit of it at a time. So, and it's fermented plums, ume plums. So, and I'm actually going to do 3/4 of a teaspoon. And just add this in. So if you didn't have ume plum vinegar and you wanted to still impart that flavor, you could take some olives, like some brined olives, and use them, chop them up really fine. It could be a really good garnish. So yeah, many things. So we're gonna plate up now. We are done. And you guys let me know in the comments if you would prefer to see everything online, like would you like a longer video, or do you like them short? Just what would you prefer? So I'll go in with our mushroom risotto, a couple spoonfuls of that. Okay. All right. And then we're gonna dice up some of our scallions on top. A little more parm, just a little. Yeah, I think I might put a little herb on here. And there you have it, everyone. This is our wild mushroom risotto.
That looks fantastic, Chef Kim.
You, you, very easy, simple. Well, I would say it was easy. I'm stirring, but it's not very complicated. Nothing that you should be afraid of.
It looks amazing.
Thank you. It smells great too.
I'll bet. All right. Well, thank you, Chef Kim, for that yummy recipe. And thank you, as always, for sharing so much interesting information with us about mushrooms and cooking risotto and how to make this recipe your own, really. You can kind of tweak it to your own desires, and that's always a great thing.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. And be sure to tune in. And you can always rewatch these shows as you find the time. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on our YouTube channel. It's there for you at your convenience. So thanks again, everybody. And join us again next time for plant-based cooking.